when milk hits the stomach. About 15% of the population are affected by lactose intolerance. The market for specialty products is growing by around 20%. But experts warn, many activities are expensive and unnecessary. Philip Alvarez. A large glass of milk, and even the rumbling belly, cramping of the stomach, bloating plague the digestive tract. People who suffer from lactose intolerance, to make, so steer well clear of the white stuff. They lack of lactase, an enzyme that breaks down the milk sugar during digestion. You must apparently give up plenty of tasty things, cream, cheese, ice cream, chocolate, sausage, or even the birth control pill maybe contained lactose. About 15% of the population are affected. 12 million German to practice renunciation and thus in their shopping more carefully eyeing if they want to remain friends in her intestines. The Berliner Tanja Ravensburger, name changed. Because of constant abdominal pain and occasional diarrhea, her family doctor made 3 years ago a test. For 3 days they took no milk products to be swallowed and then in practice, lactose powder. It was not long until she showed symptoms. For the physician, the diagnosis was clear, lactose intolerance. Since then, she dispensed with as much as possible, to lactose-containing foods. And light is not, she says. Milk and coffee, per cereal or in sauces. Soon she realized how much they must cut back. On some you could do without, of course, but just change the whole menu. And a life without dairy products would be difficult for me to imagine, says the 27-year-old. So wandered more and more specialty foods in their shopping cart. The food industry has discovered the long troubled as a new target group. Special products for which the lactose has been broken during the production demand more and more space on supermarket shelves. Thanks to them, it should be made to the waiver. More than 60 lactose-free products is about the market leader in Manusal offer. From conventional milk to frozen chicken fricassee with vegetables, rice, everything is possible. Long ago, other manufacturers have jumped on the train. The industry is booming. According to the Dairy Industry Association, the market for lactose-free dairy products each year by up to 20%. Many are expensive, but useless. They falsely suggesting an additional benefit, which does not exist. This is clear in cheese varieties such as Gouda, Edam cheese or butter contain little lactose anyway. She is transformed during the maturation process into lactic acid. There is less than 1 gram of lactose per 100 grams of cheese. Lactose-free cheese that has the same lactose content, but much more expensive than its conventional counterpart. Even with butter, the difference is so small that it can be safely ignored by most. Nevertheless, Manusal advertises can take not the better of her. There and number 39, a lot of window dressing, Frank says Hydron from the consumer Brandenburg. Lactose-free milk was, if anything, the only useful product. For sufferers who might like to drink and milk often but a special drink useful as conventional drinking milk contains relatively much milk sugar. Lactose-free cheese is completely unnecessary. As a lactose-free products are advertised special part twice as expensive as conventional ones. The consumer centers are committed to a label on each dairy product should be read to the lactose content. Frank has the impression that many consumers believe lactose-free products are generally healthier. They buy the products as a precaution, but that in number 39, no good. Advertising and promotional items into regular customers, women in number 39, magazines or pharmacists leave an undifferentiated picture. Lactose intolerance has become a downright fashionable illness for undefined abdominal pain is then quickly made the lactose in charge, says Frank. Affected would cling to the expensive products, rather than dealing with the real causes of their complaints. Finally, a test can only help the specialist to diagnose the intolerance of doubt. Many also do not know that they are able to absorb small amounts of lactose intolerance despite loose. Scientists at the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, have found that most lactose-intolerant people free of symptoms for up to 12 grams of lactose tolerated. A small glass of milk or 400 milliliters cream are always there. If you mix the milk with other food products, the impact will be even increased. And because of lactose intolerance, not an allergy, can be affected. Products with low lactose content normally buy quiet and says Christoph Romans from the Consumer Berlin. Sunlight itself saves some cash. What does the minimum amount of lactose symptoms occur? Be different depending on the patient, says Bertram Weidenman, director of the Department of Gastroenterology, CHRI. He advises them to adapt to the diet and also to consult the doctor at dietitian. For lactose-free specialty products he is skeptical, but these are mostly commercial interests and Tanya also Ravensburger takes now only with milk on the shelf with the special products. And cheese or cream to the cake I can tolerate without problems, and she says. If you want more then it should fall back on lactose-free products or lactase tablets buy at the pharmacy. However, there is a small group of particularly vulnerable people who have been able to trace quantities of milk to abdominal pain and diarrhea. At least they should give up entirely lactose.